Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I pray that everyone is in the best of health and iman, and that everyone is practicing the measures that are recommended by the government and our healthcare community. In the midst of everything that's going on, the month of Sha'baan, we're currently in the month of Sha'baan, and the month of Sha'baan is a very blessed month, the eighth Islamic month, and second only to Ramadan in virtue, blessings, and greatness. And it's due to the virtue and greatness that the Prophet ﷺ used to emphasize its importance, not only verbally, but practically as well. In a hadith which is in Nasa'i, Aisha radiallahu anha, she narrates that Rasulullah ﷺ used to fast till we would say that he would never stop fasting, and he would abandon fasting till we would say that he would never fast. And then she goes on to say that I never saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam fasting for a whole month except the month of Ramadan, and did not see him fasting in any month more than the month of Sha'ban. This narration is in Bukhari as well, Muslim, Abu Dawood. In another narration, Aisha radiallahu anha, and she has because she was close to the Prophet ﷺ, she mentions that the Prophet ﷺ used to fast the whole month of Sha'ban except for a few days. And this was something that the Prophet of Allah was capable of doing. And of course, there are a hadith where the Prophet of Allah recommended to the Sahaba that they should not fast the entire month. Basically, it was for them to save their strength for the month of Ramadan. Usama radiallahu anh, he asked that, O Prophet of Allah, I do not see you fasting in any month as much as in Sha'ban. So the Prophet ﷺ said, it's a month people are negligent of between Rajab and Sha'ban. It is a month in which deeds are raised towards the Lord of the worlds. Therefore, I like my deeds to be raised while I am in the state of fasting. Now, in the month of Sha'ban, there is a very auspicious night, the 15th of Sha'ban, which is mentioned in the Quran as well, according to Ikrimah and certain exegetes of the Quran, specifically in chapter 44, verse number 3. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that we revealed it on a blessed night. So this night is called Laylatul Bara'ah. For those who are from the subcontinent, they call it Shab Barat. And this is a night noted for great blessings and virtues. And those who attain the full blessings and benefit of this night by spending it in performing good and refraining from evil, such people are fortunate. We have to strive our utmost to attend ibadah on this auspicious night. It's a great favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the believers. There are numerous ahadith regarding the blessedness of this night, the greatness of this night. And if possible, we should try to fast on the 15th, not because we're fasting specifically and exclusively on the 15th, but because the 13th, 14th, 15th, these are considered ayyamul bid, the bright days. And it was the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ to fast on the bright days. So the bright days means that the moon is at its fullest on the 13th, 14th, and 15th of the Islamic month. However, fasting in the month of Sha'ban, at any time, this is considered virtuous. I do want to mention that ibadah during the night of the 15th, this is what is recorded from the Prophet ﷺ. The fasting itself is it's the hadith which mentions fasting. It is considered a weak hadith, and one should not practice on a hadith which is weak. But there are weighty hadith where the Prophet ﷺ would fast the 13th, 14th, and 15th. Hence, I said that we should fast on the 13th, 14th, and 15th because these days are ayyamul bid, the bright days. Recommended deeds that we should do, they're derived from the traditions of the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet of Allah. Subhanallah, he showed us what we need to do and how we should do it. It isn't as if the Prophet ﷺ left us in the dark, that here's a blessed night and that's it. No, the Prophet ﷺ, he showed us exactly what we need to do to derive the maximum benefit of the blessed night of the 15th of Sha'baan. So obviously in the month of Sha'baan, not only should we make it a point to fast as much as possible, but we should also, on the 15th of Sha'baan, we should do congregational prayer in the masjid. Since the masajid are closed, it would be best that we should try to do prayer at home with our families, at the least, the Isha prayer as well as the Fajr prayer. So just because we can't come to the masjid to perform salat with jama'ah, we can at the least we can do salat with jama'ah at home with our family members, and this is a good time to do exactly that, because we're holed up in our homes with our family. It's better to get some kind of rhythm going with our Islamic edification as much as possible. Another point is that spend as much time of the night as possible in worshipping individually. There's no such thing as collective worship. No specific dua or method of worship has been prescribed, but one may engage in dhikr, recitation of the Quran, nafil salah, supererogatory prayers, learning and teaching, or any part or anything which is considered ibadah. However, one must refrain from worldly talk, wasting of time. If ibadah is not possible for whatever reason, then at least avoid all sinful and useful acts and go to bed as soon as possible. In one hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he visited the graveyard of Baqi, but you can't really establish the practice to be sunnah, because there's no mention of Rasulullah ﷺ making it a general practice of this night. So if one visits the graveyard once in a while, it will be permissible. It shouldn't be made a point to visit the graveyard exclusively on the 15th. One must refrain from all those practices that are contrary to the sunnah. Many people, they deprive themselves of the blessings of such an auspicious night and such an auspicious and amazing occasion. And we have the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showering down upon us, but people, they tend to follow customary acts which have no basis in the Quran and in the Sunnah. Our guide is the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are the two things that Muslims have for their ultimate guidance in this world and in the hereafter. May Allah Ta'ala guide us all on the straight path and enlighten us with the blessings of the sacred month and its blessed night. Ameen. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Jazakumullahu khairan.